Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Just want to make sure I have sound audio working for everyone on your end. Well, welcome, everyone. My name is Shar Hayes. I am your host of Inspire and We Inspire Together. Along with me is our founder and co host, Kiana Tennant. We are honored and pleasured to have with us Colline Ajidra. He is a young scholar at the School of Livingstone in North Carolina, and he has come by way of Uganda and is living out a dream of also being a scholar and an athlete, and wanted to learn how most children coming from those countries learn about football, which is our relation to soccer. But he's now taking on the experience of learning about golf and becoming a part of an international team representing Uganda. So without further ado, let's welcome Colin.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how
I'm
are you
glad.
today?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very happy and excited to be with you guys.
Are you on campus right now?
No, I'm off campus. I have an apartment that I live in off campus.
Okay. Oh, you live off campus though.
Yes.
Oh, nice. So tell us, I know I kind of briefly in your introductions, kind of alluded to where you're from. Tell us where you're from and tell us about, your beginning, your humble beginnings as a child.
Oh, thank you. I'm from a small country in East Africa called Uganda. I was born and raised in Uganda in a small city called Entebbe. So, how I started golf? Of course, Africa is popularly known for soccer. So, at first, I never even played golf. I was playing soccer. My passion was soccer. So at the age of I think 12, one of my friends, most of my friends were playing golf for fun, and they kept asking me to come join them, to come walk with them. And then one day I just decided I went with them, walked with them. Of course, when you go with friends out and they're playing golf, they'll give you the golf sticks and you have to hit a few times. And then actually, my first time, I actually did it very well. So they were impressed, and they kept asking me to come with them all the time. And that's how I started playing golf.
So one of the things about this show is for us to inspire others. Tell us about your journey and how it has been an inspiration to even yourself as well as others.
So golf, I believe, I literally believe, if it wasn't for golf, I wouldn't be who I am today. If it wasn't for golf, I wouldn't be. I believe I would be somewhere in jail or in prison because
Wow.
coming from the neighborhood I came from, I grew. My father, I lost my father when I was like 6 years old,
Mm.
and my father was the strongest man holding the family together, making sure we have ends meet, making sure we had what what we needed to have to live happily. So when I unfortunately lost my dad at a very young age, we moved out of the nice life that I was in to a very hard life. It was me and my mom, and life was hard. My mom was just a housewife. And when you lose your dad at a very young age, as a boy, you may lose yourself to the streets too. Streets
Yeah.
are everywhere. You never know how you can go around with life. So when my friends asked me to come with them at the golf, golf kept me away from a lot of trouble. And I found myself at the golf that I needed education. Education cannot move, golf cannot move without education. So that kept me in school in the sense that every golfer that I came across was highly educated, and they could always tell you, make sure you keep in school. At one point, I was working at the golf club. That is the Entebbe Golf Club, 15 minutes away from my home. And I used to work as a caddy, and all the people that I was caddying for, the one thing they kept telling me is make sure you keep in school. We're giving you all this money that you're working for. Make sure you use it toward your school.
Hmm.
And that was like a driving force for me to always stick with my education and do the right thing, be humble, and work hard. So I learned all these characteristics of life during my time at the golf, because I found myself spending more time at the golf club than any other place. As I said in the beginning, I felt like golf saved me from becoming wild.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So, and how old were you when that first happened?
So I started going to the golf club when I was like 10.
Okay.
So at the age of 12, 13, I would say 14, that's because when I went there, I did not automatically start playing golf. I started as a means of carding,
Hmm.
as helping the members with their golf balls and all that, and they were paying me because I needed some extra money on me. So after like 3 or 4 years, I kept playing golf on the side,
Hmm.
but I guess I was good to the fact that I just joined the game, and I would spend always my money, like every Monday I would go out there and hit balls. I would hit balls because I didn't want to play bad when I played with my friends.
Yeah.
So that doing that over a time made me a good player. So one time he was just out there playing, and I didn't know. Remember, my mom always says there's always somebody watching, so you have to
Yes.
always be disciplined. I was out there playing, and I think I made a very good shot. And one of the members called me and said, "You know what? I have an old set of clubs. You can come and borrow them and learn with them." Because we didn't have much equipment. I know players that I used to play with, but they started playing golf using sticks. Like you could just go and break a branch of a tree and make it look like a
Wow.
golf stick and hit it. You know, so we didn't have enough equipment, but just because of the love and the enthusiasm that I showed for the game, things kept falling in place. I actually ended up with one of my mentors, the first person I caddied for was a white man. He was from Spain and he was working in Uganda with the Ministry of Finance. So when I kept working for him as a caddy on the golf course, he he, he got to know me, and he found out that I did not have a father figure in my life. And he was always there for me to counsel me, make sure I do the right thing, encourage me. And when I was supposed to go to high school, he took me to a better high school and paid my
Oh, wow.
all the 4 years of my high school. So things like that kept happening to me just because I'm in the golf industry.
Hmm.
And I kept in school and I performed really well at high school. I think I had a 3.6. Unfortunately, when I graduated high school, his contract had gotten finished and he left Uganda.
Oh, wow.
So I was stuck for a whole year. I lost communication with him. I lost contact with him. After a year, I think he tried to find out what's happening with me. He got through one of his golf friends, and his golf friends reached out to me and said, "Hey, his name is Mr. Andreas." He said, "Mr. Andreas is looking for you. He lost your contact. He wants to know what's happening with you." And he he arranged his friend arranged, and then we had a video call with him. And he's like, "What's happening? I lost contact. What is my contract got finished and I went back to Spain. What's happening?" I told him, "Well, I graduated high school and I'm home. I'm just playing golf. It's been a year." He's like, "Well, how did you do?" I'm like, "I did very good. I did very, very well. I could do any course that I want actually." And he's like, "Okay, so try to find out what you can do for now. Since I'm not in Uganda, I may not be able to help you 100%, but I'll still try and see what is going, what I'll do for you." And then I applied to one of the best business universities back home. It's called Makerere Business University, and they admitted me for accounting, associate degree in accounting.
So you have both. You're doing so, but along with the being a part of golf and as well you're in school for business. How are you managing out both in terms of being an athlete and in school?
So when I went to college for my associate degree, it was kind of, a lot going on. I didn't have the time. So, and the college that I went to was like in the city, from Entebbe to the capital city of the country, that is like Kampala. So I had to move to the city.
Okay.
So when I moved to the city, I took a year, 1 year off, not playing golf. I was just, trying to get myself situated in the college. It's a very, very huge college, over 50,000 students. It's very,
Wow.
very big. So I was trying to fit in the college life. You know how you get to college and
Yes.
then you have a lot going on. But when I was at college, I met one of my buddies that I used to play with back in Entebbe, that I used to, be around. And he was at that college. His name is Titus Okon. And for him, he was already playing golf and at the same time going to college. And then he kept telling me, man, you need to go back to golf. You need to, find time and try to balance, do school and go to golf and keep playing so that, you never know. Your chances may be in golf. And I wasn't into it. I was like, what, let me focus on this school thing and get straight with it. But after time, he kept telling me, I'm working on my scholarship. I'm about to leave to US.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get to US, you're not playing golf, you will not come. I'm like, man, I don't know about US. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. You will go. I wish you all the luck. And then towards the last, like after 2 years, he got his scholarship through and he made it to the US.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, he came to Livingstone.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kept telling me, "Are you playing golf?" But before he left, I was already playing golf. I went back to the game, resumed from where I had stopped, and I was playing. And then he kept telling me, "Are you playing serious golf?" I'm like, "No, I'm just playing for fun for now, but I'm back to the game. I hope I find a love for it, and then straight start training harder." And he's like, "Yeah, you need to find the love for the game, get better, make sure you get to the national team." So the way it works back home, to have to be recognized the US standard, you need to be on the national team. Like you need to represent your country at amateur level. That's the only way they can know you're good enough to play college golf.
Yeah.
And he kept telling me, you need to make it to the national team. And I was playing, but I wasn't serious about the sport. So one time he posted a picture of himself on a yacht and he was in Miami. And I looked at the picture like, this is where I want to be. And I called him, I asked him, "Hey Titus, what should I do to get where you are? I've seen your picture. I love the place. I want one time I want to be in that place." And he said, "Okay, make sure you get to the national team. Make sure you win majors and make sure you become a national golfer." I'm like, cool. So I went. So that's when I decided I need to go to the US. That's when I was like,
Okay.
you know what, let me work hard to go to the US. So I started working so hard. I was hitting 350 balls every day for 4 days
Wow.
a week.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wow.
And within a period of like 6 months, I got an invitation to represent the country. They, the success was too much. I was winning events. I played against one of the best players from the neighboring countries, and I was playing very fine. All the newspapers were writing about me. This kid has come from nowhere. He's here now playing good golf, And he kept reading those newspapers when he was here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
And then he called me back. He's like, "You didn't tell me you made it to the national team. What's happening?" I told him, "Well, I think I'm enjoying the moment." And he's like, "Okay,
Absorbing it all in.
yeah."
That's great.
He's okay. You know what? I'm going to get for your scholarship to come and join me at Livingstone College. And I'm
Wow.
cool. If you can get me the scholarship, I'll come. And then he got me the scholarship. That's how I ended up coming to the US.
Wonderful. Question. Do both of you hear any background noises on the call?
I hear a little like
Some static?
yeah, like a little scratchiness. It's not like overall, but it sounds like maybe just be something that's going
I
like a
think,
feedback from either computer or phone or something like that may be open.
yes. I think, I don't know how that's happening, but yes, I do hear it as well.
I don't hear now all of a sudden. Yeah, I
You
don't hear
know,
now. Yeah, it's
it's
gone. I don't hear.
okay. I do hear it when we start talking.
Yeah.
I hear it more on your side.
On my side,
Yeah.
that's weird. Okay. Well,
So you heard it while we were talking?
I heard it while Colin was talking.
Oh, okay. Okay. But like I said, I don't hear it now. So maybe it's whatever it was, maybe
It's
some
on my
feedback
side.
around was coming in, a little interference.
Anyone out there, if you hear anything, if you hear some background noises, let us know in the chat. So, Colin, I just want to step back for a second.
Mm.
Was golf something that you wanted to do as a child, or was there something else
No, I
you wanted?
always wanted to play soccer. And all my role models and everybody that I looked up to who I want to be like soccer players. Because that's the game I played when I was young. All my childhood was soccer, and I was
Mm,
good at it. I got scholarships coming up, growing up, and I was playing soccer. I have certificates, I have trophies of soccer, and I never thought I would play golf at one time.
mm,
Yeah.
okay.
So and tell us about, I mean, you said you had the gentleman that helped you when you were in high school. Was it when you came into the US, was there anyone that was a mentor or guiding you through that process as well?
So right after when I graduated high school, remember I was 1 year off. I didn't go to school for 1 year after
Hmm.
graduating. So I made friends at the golf club where I was playing for. There was this nice gentleman, a very prominent lawyer in my country called Charles O'Derry. He has so the way we just met randomly on the tee box.
Well,
Like
more so about golf. Like, was it anyone who here in the US that maybe had some experience in playing that kind of took you by the hand? Had that happened for you at all?
no, it's the only person that I knew that was playing golf in the US was my friend who made it,
Okay.
and we was at college, and he made it to the US. And that when he posted that picture, him on the yacht, that's when I knew I wanted to be in the US.
Mm.
That was my motive.
So a lot of your skills and your training came from you just being on these teams and you just learning and practicing. There was never an actual coach basically when you were going through it.
Initially, I always used to go out there just to get better, just to make
Mhm.
sure I can play better the next day I play. And of course, when you're working hard, somebody is always watching. Like
Yeah.
those days when I could go out there, hit 350 balls every day. So like the local professional golfers, I have one that was a friend of mine. He's like, you know what? You put in a lot of effort. So I'm going to every time you catch me out here, ask me, and I'll always work with you, try to better you. Try to
Okay.
correct you. And big applause, big thank you to Coach Colin Bryan. He worked with me for a couple of months. He was just working for me for free, and he was out there every time I could catch him out there when I'm practicing. He always made sure he taught me something.
And what was that coach's name?
Coach Brian Tolit.
Okay. Well, that's great. Because little nuggets of someone sharing their time with you also matters as well because it, makes a difference in you getting to where you are now. So tell us the experience of what it was like when you first got into the US, just being here and what that meant to you.
First of all, it was cold when I landed in new country.
Yes, it could get cold.
Yeah,
So
it
was it
was
a big was it a big was it a huge transition? A lot of you can get a lot of information about what the US is like and get a little insight on that. So when you got here, was it all that you expected or was it more surprises than you thought?
it was a lot of surprises when I got to the US.
Okay.
But at, the general assumption is it was something. First of all, the cultural shock. Coming from a different country and then just coming to another whole continent. It's culturally you're gonna be shocked,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're seeing all these massive roads, these massive buildings. People speaking very fast.
Yeah.
When you speak, people catch your accent and be like, "Where you from?" So it was the food itself. It was a big transition for me. It was.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that really got me so good was the fact that Uganda was colonized by the British.
Mm-hmm.
So the word and the way we write our English is more British.
Yeah.
And then when I started going to school here and writing my essays and saying words, I speak more of the British words. And a lot of people was not catching it. And the English professors they were not understanding what I was writing because
Mm.
people don't understand that there's a huge difference between the American way of writing English and the British way of writing English.
Can you give us our audience an example of that, of when you recognize even just a sentence or saying that made you go, "Oh, there's a complete difference."
Okay, so I'll give you a couple of words. So the way you guys write color, right?
Mm-hmm.
You write it COLOR, right?
Uh-huh.
And the way the British write color is COLOUR.
You are, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have thousands and thousands of those words that are written like that.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I
And,
mean, and there's a lot of that differences. I mean, just in how words like flyer. I remember one day I looked up the word flyer, and because I thought somebody misspelled it, and they was like, "No, I spelled it Flier," and in some places they spell it FL or FYER. So it's like, one of those small little differences, things that you don't think about, that how we approach things and how different people from different cultures, we may say it the same, but how it's written is different. And so how did you approach that to your teachers? Like, no, this is how I was taught. Did they tell you to adjust, or did they say, well, we accept that from you?
no. I had to adjust. They said, okay, well, you you're speaking a different language. It's English, but it's different English. But here in the US, the US standard, they recognize the US way of writing. So
Yeah.
they gave me time to catch up with. I had to change. Like I have an Oxford British written English. I had to keep it away and get the American
Mm,
Oxford English.
yeah.
Try to write words, read words. I read a lot of books, so that helps me to adjust on the way the Americans speak words, the way the Americans write. And it's I like it now that I know the difference between the American way of writing and the British way of writing English. To have that set of skill that I can
Yeah.
write both the British way and the American way, it's just amazing.
You don't think about it as a skill set, but it is. It truly is. Well,
Yeah,
one thing, golf is spelled the same way, right? At least,
yeah. Go. Oh, of course, that's spelled the same way.
at least that's universal.
Yeah.
So was there a difference? I mean, I know you were talking about how where you were from, people would take trees off because they didn't have the equipment and the tools and all the things they needed. What other significant difference did you see coming over, playing that maybe access to things that you didn't have when you were in Uganda?
Oh yeah. First of all, the standard of playing here is high. It's like at the top,
Mm-hmm.
And then the equipments, the facilities, you know. I'm, the one thing I've been around a few countries in the world, but the one thing that I really appreciate about US is the US gives you the chance to excel if you work hard for it. The opportunities are just open to you. Where I come from, we have one opportunity for 100 people. It takes,
Mm,
first of all, you have to be the very best, and second of all, you have to be lucky
mm,
to get the opportunity. But that's not how the case is in the US. In the US, you work hard. You don't have to be lucky. Work hard. You're going to get what you're working for because the opportunities are just right to you. It is you holding yourself or lifting yourself up.
Say that again, Colin, because that's so profound. That's something that we often take for granted. Say that again, because I want our audience and listeners to hear that, about how the importance that we, around us, often don't think about the fact that maybe the ratio of jobs may be a little scarce at this moment, but working hard still is the outlining factor of success. So say that again, what you said, if you can recall it,
So
unless it just came from your spirit.
what what I said is the one thing that is different in the US is the US, the opportunities are there. You just need to work hard to get to the opportunity. Where I come from, we have one opportunity for 100 people. So now to get that opportunity, you not only you have to be the great at what you're doing, but you have to be lucky because the same person who is The next person next to you is as good as you are. It only takes the luckiest person to get that chance. But in the
That's
US, you work hard, the opportunity is going to embrace you. You know.
That's so true. That's so true. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to restate it, because I want that to kind of be one of those things we kind of pull out from this interview, because it is important for us to know that the importance of hard work, yeah, in all facets of whatever you're doing in your field. Whether you're in school, going to school, being an athlete, or college, or for business administration, or whatever the field is, there's more opportunities than not. So, and it gives hope to people coming over. So when you think about yourself and people who are in Uganda, what would be something that you would say if someone who's interested in getting into golf, like what would one of the things you would say starting out they should know how to do?
Well, with golf, you have to go to a golf club. That's the first thing you have to do. It's just like basketball. You cannot play basketball if you don't have the ball and the court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you need to get yourself at the golf course. And a lot of people, this is the mindset. The one major reason why I'm really happy and very excited to do this interview is out there people think golf is a rich man's game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
this has kept a lot of people away from the sport.
That's so true.
And all my life, I can testify this. One of the biggest deals or contracts that I've ever seen signed, I've seen it signed on a golf course. It was a 58 million euros contract.
Mm.
So I used to play back home. I used to play with the state secretary for infrastructure and transport,
Mm-hmm.
and he literally signed a contract with the company that was going to build a bridge in Uganda on the golf course. So meaning, and when you look at it, most richest people in the world play golf. You can wait to catch someone at their office the whole week, the whole year, and they will tell you there's no appointment. You cannot book now. You cannot see them now. Imagine you play golf. That person, not a week, is going to miss a round of golf. You can, if you are a golfer, you have more chances of catching that person on the golf course and have more time with him while playing, because a round of golf is 4 hours, and sell what you have to sell in that time. By the end of the day, you have the contract.
That's a really good tip. That's a really good networking thing, because oftentimes people don't think about you got to go to these networking events that in order to meet people. It's like go where they are socially. And that's a great way to connect people, especially if you're going to business or going into, anything that you need a client base. And oftentimes they build a relationship with you and trust you, and you feel like in those kind of social settings that makes a difference. So that's a great tip too.
That is a good tip. So Sha, I guess we're gonna go learn how to play golf.
That's what I told you.
Literally, and I remember in high school, like because we had a class like a gym class or PE, and we did that, and it was one of those things where I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the best thing, but it's one of those things that if it wasn't offered often enough, then it was like, okay, that I did that for one semester, as opposed to like keeping it up. And my dad played, and so it is something, especially how. Because the strength and endurance and seeing your ability to use that to take a little stick and hitting it and making a ball do something that goes way across, which gravity plays a part in that too. But I love that. I mean, and there's science in that, and people don't understand it. There's also technique that goes into playing golf. It's not, football and basketball, but it's a sport that you control because it's not a team sport. So that's what I love about it too.
So Colin, I have a question. So in the US, a lot of the golf courses are private. So you can't just walk up and go and play, right? In Uganda, how does a child get on the golf course and play? Is it the same like in the US, or do you have to be invited on to play? Or because how would a child in Uganda know I want to play golf, I'm going to go learn or find some place to practice?
So in Uganda, I would say it's a little bit excused in the sense that we have like a national union that is in charge of the golf section in Uganda, the Uganda Golf Union. So we have a couple of courses, at least in every city, there's a course that is registered under the Uganda Golf Union. And we started up something back home like 5 years ago, every summer holiday we put up open camps and invite the communities, the neighboring communities, to bring their children out, and we give them a golf clinic. We engage the young people. We give them a welcome to the game and teach them for a period of like 6 weeks, so that they can find love for the game, so that they can know you can play golf. You don't really have to have a lot, you know, and then expose them to the game. Then after that, if you have interest, there are categories of memberships that you can pay. Student membership, which I was a beneficiary of it. You can start as a student member, and which are fairly cheap. You pay once a year, and you become a life member. Such benefits exist. That's the difference back home. Well, over here, I would say over here, golf is a little bit more expensive to play in the US in terms of the money you pay. But like myself, the college pays. I'm a member to one of the country club in Salisbury. The school pays, so I can access the facility and use it as a full member anytime I want.
Right. That really is good, because a lot of times people think that you have to have all this money, like you said, as a rich man saying. And if say for instance you have none of those elements in terms of access to things, are there online resources that you ever use? Were you able to kind of just get online and read up on it? Or any references that you were able to apply to that just by reading?
The one mistake I did, I always wanted my golf swing to look like Tiger's golf swing.
Oh, okay.
That was something that really costed me a lot of bad golf.
Yeah.
I used to go on YouTube just to watch the clips of Tiger Woods, how he used to hit the ball, and try to imitate him, try to do stuff he did. But with experience, I found out everybody is naturally different.
Mm-hmm.
The body is different. The way you hit the ball is different. So I found out I need to master my own piece and perfect it.
That was really good,
So
because
there's a lot of golfers, right now. The most recent is Matthew Wolf. He's just turned the professional. The way he hits his golf, he moves his feet and all that. People were criticizing him. People, a lot of people will say whatever they say. But once you perfect your skill, you will go out there and perform. And he's been one of the performing professional golfers who have just joined the PGA. So you just have to perfect your craft, go out there and work hard. Hard work will always show. It may not show the day after a week, after 2 weeks, or after the first event you play. But I promise you, when you go out there and work, that work is going to stay with you, and it will show up one time.
So Colin, what's one thing that you've learned about yourself through your journey from the Uganda to the US, playing golf, through your studies? What's one thing that you've learned about yourself?
I'm resilient, and I'm addicted to working hard. I'm open-minded to learn a few things that I feel they will benefit me. But I'm so addicted to working hard. I always outwork myself. Just to give you an example, ever since I came to the US, they told we are supposed to do at least 15 credit hours. And I always push myself to do more, just because I believe I can do more. And just the previous semester, I did 21 credit hours. And the season was not, due to COVID, they canceled out our season. But I've been going to the gym every 6:30 in the morning for the past 4 months. So I dedicate my time to making sure I become better, because I believe in hard work. I'm a very, very strong believer in hard work. And I know hard work it is definitely not going to show up after a few months. It is dedicated time that you put in that is going to show after a period of time. You don't have to always be the best, but I promise you, if you work hard, you are going to sit at the table with the best.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I saw that you are, along with being such an exceptional golfer, carrying a 4.0 grade point average. How is that balancing that out, being an athlete and having good grades and maintaining schoolwork and practicing? I know, everything has slowed down, but how did you prioritize yourself prior to this?
We being at college is a bit more of self discipline. You
Hmm.
know, you need to know what to do at the right time and when to do it. There's always when you sign up and you are an athlete, of course, that means nothing without your education
Hmm.
because you cannot play golf if you're below 2.5 GPA.
Okay.
So once I understood that, and since back home, I've always been a very great student in terms of academics. I think my lowest I've ever got is 3.5.
Mm.
So that gives me focus because I want to represent my college both golf and academically. It's just not representing my college here. I'm representing a whole country. I have people back home who are looking up to me. I'm representing Uganda, and at the same time, I'm representing Livingstone.
Hmm.
That kind of burden pushes me. I just want to do right. I just want to be top. I just want to make sure when anything that comes with my name represents where I come from.
That's great. And that you represent yourself. That's also important as well. So when you are in school, because you're going to school for business and economics, and you're playing golf, like what is it in terms? I'm assuming that sports creates discipline, but what is it that you ultimately want to do with your studies?
So when I graduate, I want to do my master's in investment analysis. At the same time, I want to play professional golf.
Okay.
So I'm looking at doing hand in hand because I believe if I balance my time very well, there is always going to be a way to see them through. So that's
And
what
that's such a great ambition because, oftentimes in the US, as student athletes, there's this thing where being an athlete becomes the priority over the actual academics. And the fact that you're saying I can accomplish both goals hand in hand, one doesn't have to take the precedent over each other. So what is it about for yourself that you saying that, I want to do both? I don't have to take one away from the other. Why is it important for you to be able to try to do both in your life?
it is very important because I'm not going to be an athlete forever.
Mm-hmm.
Age will catch up with me. You
Mm-hmm.
know. However much I may be successful at it, so I'm looking at after the aftermath. When I clock 50, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I have a very big interest in politics. I follow politics hand in hand in the world politics back home. I have hopes when I return back home, maybe run for the country.
Yeah.
So I need the best education to be able to understand how the country runs. To understand the numbers, the economical way of running the country.
So, do you go back home often?
I haven't, unfortunately, no, I haven't gone home ever since I came, but I'm looking forward to going soon if at all the COVID situation gets
So,
in.
how is it being here and you have no family here? Your family, they're all back home in Uganda.
It's I miss my mom and my two sisters. I miss them a lot. But right now, ever since I came to the US, so we created a chain of recruiting people, best golfers to come to the US for school. So it is seven of us here in the US,
Mhm.
Ugandans, who we know each other. We used to play against each other. We know each other from back home, and we live together now. And it's six of us at Livingstone College. So
Hmm.
that became like with the bondage because we speak the same language back home and we come from the same country. We created our own family.
Hmm. So, you
And
do have a network of friends here still.
oh yeah, yeah, we have a lot of friends here. Just 2 days ago, I got invited to one of my good friend, a teammate, hosted me for Thanksgiving, South Carolina.
That's nice.
Yeah, so we
So,
have.
so tell us a little bit about for those because this platform is global. in terms of a little about the visa process and what that was, and a little bit going into how, you know, how that was for you getting into that, and giving some insight to someone who's looking to go into applying for one, and getting an education one versus sports one, and what is that about?
Well, I have a testimony for you about the visa process. I was denied the visa the first time,
Wow.
and it is one of those things that happened, and I was like, wow, this was God.
Mm,
I was denied a visa, and the way it works, when you get denied the US visa, you have to wait at least 6 months, 6 months before you apply again.
mm, mm-hmm.
But I guess I was stubborn. They denied me in the evening. I was already applying, and I applied. So I indicated yes, I was denied just a week ago,
Mm,
and I kept praying. I went to church. I was like, God, I need to go to the US. I need this scholarship. I cannot lose this scholarship. I went to my godfather. My godfather is a reverend. I told him, please pray for me. I'm going back, but I'm just violating the policy. But I know they will hear me out. So when I went back for the visa process again, the lady at the US embassy asked me, so tell me why I should give you the visa, and yet you was just denied a few days ago,
mm-hmm.
and you're supposed to wait for 6 months. And I told him, Mom, I just want you to hear me out. This is the only opportunity for me to get a better education that I've been dreaming of. And this is the same time at the opportunity for me to play golf at international level that I always wanted to play. If I don't go, I'm losing this scholarship.
Yeah.
This is the only chance. That is the only reason why I'm defying the rule. I know I'm supposed to wait for 6 months, but at the end of the 6 months, I will not have the scholarship.
Mm.
Thank God she had me and she gave me the visa. It was just, I'm one out of the million it never happens like this. I was just like,
You also were persistent, because oftentimes people see as a no as a deterrent to never turn back and get the yes. And so that testimony of faith and perseverance is the difference to why you got the answer you wanted. And that's why I wanted you to go into telling that story, or I didn't know it prior to, because of the fact that oftentimes people hear no and it's a roadblock, and they don't understand that there's different roads you can go off to get to the yes. And so I thank you for sharing that part, because it's very important for people to hear that don't take that no for an answer, especially when it comes down to your future. So
yeah, I have a mentor who always tells me, when they say no, look around. There's always a door that is always ready to take you in.
mm-hmm.
So you can imagine, I got denied at around 9 a.m. At 5 a.m., I was already applying. You always have to keep pushing. You never know. You push
Yeah,
the wall that opens up is where you go.
exactly. And that's so great that you did that, because look at you now. That's such a great story and testimony to share with us.
So,
So
comment. Oh, go ahead.
so when you are going through your journey and talking to others, what has been some of advice that someone has given you that you've been able to kind of hold on to, that made you feel like you could be a difference in that?
Well, before I left home, uh, one of my mentors back home said, "You're leaving now. You're going to the U.S. Remember, you're not representing you alone anymore. You're representing the country. You're representing the people where you come from. You're representing the whole flag of Uganda. Whatever you do should reflect of who you want to be portrayed." And that has always kept me on my A game. I check myself before I do anything, because I know at the end of the day, it is not just about me. Kids back home, the young talented golfers back home, they look at us, the Ugandans who are in the US. They'll be like, we want to do the things you guys do. You know, we want to set a trend that they see and follow. So the fact that we know we have to inspire people back home to be like us You know, as I said, it's 7 of us here. We always make sure we do the right thing at the right time and make sure whatever we do represents us. You know. And ever since we came to, this is like a fact. We came to, when we started playing golf for Livingstone 2 years ago, 2 years in a row, we've been winning best, uh, the best accolade for GPA in the whole conference. We
Mm-hmm.
have the golf team has like, I would say 12 players, and out of the 12 players, it's 6 Ugandans, and out of the 6 Ugandans, the lowest GPA among ourselves is 3.8. That's the lowest.
Wow.
We have 5 4.0. So that alone, we are untouchable when it comes to academics in our conference. And golf
Wow.
wise, I strongly believe we are the best HBCU golf school in the country right now.
That's awesome. That's great.
So it is a very, very good example that we've set for the young people back home, you know, so that they can work hard and dream high. You know.
So Livingstone College is a HSBCU.
Yeah, it's a HBCU,
Nice.
private HBCU.
Awesome.
So, in terms of your goals, give us something that you would want to have accomplished for yourself for the next few years, or whenever you've set that time frame where you want to have something accomplished on your list.
Well, first of all, this is like the biggest dream for now. We want to win the championship next
Okay.
year. Off record. That's what we've been waiting for this for long. Last time we were ready, and then COVID hit, and we never played. This time around, we are ready. All my teammates are ready, and we are playing one of the. I think we're playing the best golf ever in the history of Livingstone College golf, and I'm confident we will win it. And second of all, I want to keep my 4.0 until I graduate.
Yeah, that's great.
Graduate with higher GPA so that I can, get a better scholarship for my masters. So in the next 3 years' time, I want to be a professional. I want to be in my grad school. So those are the goals that I've set for myself.
And you're going to grad school. That's great. And continuing on. Would you play throughout grad school? Or is it something you would focus solely on grad school?
On grad school, I'm looking at playing professional golf.
Okay, at that level when you're there. I tell you, that's such a great thing. Have you ever tried doing the virtual golfing where you have the club, but you're doing it to like a screen? Have you ever tried one of those before?
So I have back from the golf club that I come from, I have a few people that I know they are good players, that I know they are going to school. So I've set once in a while I set a day and call them on a video call. And because normally it's the opposite. When it's night this side, it's day the other side.
Yeah.
So I make them go to that golf range, like what you guys call the top golf.
Yes.
And I tell them to place a camera where I can see them. And then I try to correct them a few, encourage them, tell them, don't go easy on the ball, go hard, get strong, a few stuff.
Well, have you ever thought about doing that, like filming yourself doing that? Because then, you won't always have to have a time zone between you. It could be just you showing little clips and tips about how to golf.
That would be interesting.
You should think about it because, and start yourself a YouTube channel because your story is very inspirational and it's inspirational to any young child looking to get into it. And it's seeing diversity among the sports that has often been seen as just a rich man, white man's game. So I think it's more you can put yourself out there and getting your story, and hopefully maybe using this as a springboard to have that. I think a lot of people will be inspired by your story. So hopefully you'll be able to have that amongst your studies. I know it's a balancing to now have try to create a YouTube channel, but that would be great to see that. So
and you know what's funny? We only have 2 black people on the PGA tour.
Yeah.
Only Tiger Woods and Harold Varner the third.
Yeah, and then it's Vijay Singh is Indian, but I guess we can count him.
I don't know. But
we can add him in just for the fact that we claiming him.
The claim him if he doesn't claim himself. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's true. Well, let's not get on Tiger now, but we're gonna move on. That's another show. Anyway,
So I know you've done. You have a lot on your plate. You're playing golf. You want to go for your master's. You want to go back home. Maybe have a school for children there to teach them golf. What else is on your bucket list? Do you have any other goals that you want to accomplish?
I want to because I believe through education we can change a lot. That's my belief. I just want to be able to, if I could help during my stay in the US, because I don't know how long I'm going to stay in the US, but if I could only help more than 20 people get scholarships to come to the US and study and play golf, I've already that is something I'm looking forward to. 20 people, you've already helped 20 different lives change their lives to become better. Because as I said in the beginning, if I did not keep in golf, I wouldn't be at school right now. I wouldn't be this great passion that back home people look at and be proud of. And I only believe you can only stay focused if you're in school. You know,
yes.
if you there's a lot the brain can do if you keep feeding it information. It expands. You know, and you change the whole country, the whole place. So that's what I'm looking at. I always make sure I get some time to talk to my friends, the youngsters back home. I call them and encourage them. So they've seen me from nothing, working my way up. There's always joy in the process. You have to trust the process. Don't skip the ladder. There's no elevator in success. So I always tell them that let's work hard, go out there, hit balls, stay in school.
Hmm.
There's nothing you can achieve without education. You may be lucky. A few people have been lucky, but not always you're going to be lucky and achieve if you don't keep in school.
Correct. Correct. So I just want to look who's following us right now. I want to say shout out to Diane. She wanted to say to you, Colin, best wishes. And she also said, absolutely, there's 1,000 yeses waiting on you.
Oh, thank you.
We have Jose watching. We also have Stefan. Thank you all for watching. And Kathy, she was watching. So there are people here, and thank you for joining us. If there's
Yes.
any questions, please post your questions before we end the chat today.
So share something that I know you've talked about your advice. Is there a mantra or a quote or something that someone that you kind of give yourself as a daily inspiration that you may say to yourself?
I have a lot of sources where I get my inspirations from, but one of my favorite quotes is from Kevin Durant. He said, "Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard."
Mm.
That is where I get my motive to grind, my to work
Mhm.
hard. Other than that, I listen to a lot of inspirational, motivational speakers. Steve Harvey is one of my people that I listen to. Ed is one of them. I listen to a lot of I like every time I feel like I'm not in the right mindset, I listen to motivational speaking.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So you said when you're not in the right mindset. So what type of challenges have you faced and how did you get through it?
I mean, it's a tough question, but a lot of time being at college, there's a lot going on around you. If you're not that careful, you never know. You may find yourself in something you wouldn't have done. So before I do something, because I've been in such situations, you just be around your friends and then they bring in something that you're not, like I don't drink, I don't smoke. So, and college is like
A party.
you are responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
So before I do something, I put myself aside. I'll be like, do I need to see me doing that? No. What do I have to do? Go to my room, listen to something. At the end of the day, trouble is always coming to look for you. You
Yeah.
just have to find the exit before you catch it.
Who inspired you? Like, I knew you lost your father at a young age. Where did you find inspiration to keep moving on? I know sports did it, but was it any particular person that kind of pushed you along the hill that, often you find yourself trying to climb up?
My mom is my motivation. My mom is my everything. You
Mm-hmm.
know, my mom never went to school. Like she couldn't read because growing up as a child, we used to receive mails from my dad. After my dad had passed and all that, and I was young. I couldn't read well. My mom couldn't read, and then I remember when I was like 10 years old, I promised my mom and I said, "Hey, mom, you will never have to suffer reading your stuff again. I'm going to make sure I go to school and read whatever you have to read for you." And then I've always made sure I'm doing it, to make sure she's proud of me. I want her to see the best. I want people to see that she raised a man, she raised a gentleman, she raised an informed person. That is my motivation.
That's amazing. That's so great. And that she can see that, and the hard work that you're doing and the dedication that you have to
Yes.
your academics as well as to sports. So that's so inspiring to hear that. And we, often want to ask people to kind of leave with some words of inspiration, and having, if you were talking to your younger self, I always want to kind of impart that, because oftentimes we don't know things we didn't know 10 years ago. If that was something if you were telling your younger self something to inspire yourself, what would that be?
I would tell myself to always never give up on me. Work hard. I wish I started working hard at the age of 10 or 12 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be where I am. I would be way up there. But yeah, work hard, believe in whatever you're going to do. And it will not work out the first day or the second day, but trust the process and work hard. It will always come back. Stay in school. School is everything. School is like the key to the future that you don't know. Once you lose that key, you may not open the future.
Mm-hmm.
So the school is going to keep you away from trouble. When you speak, you're going to sound intellectual. You're going to sound informed. You're going to know the difference between wrong and right. And the community needs people like that more than ever. So that is my word of encouragement. There's always going to be challenges, but work hard. You don't have to be the best in whatever you do, but outwork yourself to sit at the table with the best.
That is so amazing. That is so great. Like I felt that in my spirit, and I know that those who are watching and will watch this, because it will live on the internet, that will be inspired by your story, and we are so grateful that you have shared your journey, and are able to connect what you have gone through, and how there's obstacles in your way, and how you didn't give up. You didn't say no. I mean, didn't let a no challenge you. You kept persevering. So we thank you, Colin, for sharing your story with us. And to our audience, we thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of We Inspire Together. And if you know of someone who's been an inspiration to you, please let us know. Follow us on our Facebook and our Instagram page at inspireanonymous.com, or on all things Inspire Anonymous. You can follow that as well. Make sure you let us know that story. Even if you feel you're an inspiration to someone, please let us know. And again, we want to thank Colline Ajidra for being a part of our show. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to a few people in my life who have
Yes,
helped
please.
me and pushed me to be who I am today. A big thank you to Professor Andreas. My love from I forgot to tell you guys, I'm a tutor. I tutor economics at Livingstone too. So since I'm good at economics, so they hired me to help other students with economics. So my love for economics came directly from my mentor, Andreas, Professor Andreas, who pushed me right. He met me when I was like 14, and all these years he's been with me. And a big thank you to Mr. Charles Odere, my first and ever coach, Coach Tolit Bryan, and my friend who paved the way for me to come to the US. And every time I go out there, I make sure I take a picture to post. You never know what that picture can do to somebody else. You see, I was inspired by a picture to come to the US. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to whoever is tuned in, whoever who will watch this later on. Let's stay positive. Let's work hard. The best is yet to come, and God above all.
That's right. We thank you for that, Colin. And we wish you all the best faith. I believe in luck as well, but I believe that faith leads us in our journey. And we thank you for sharing your journey with us. And we know you'll be back to tell us of all the things you've accomplished. So we'll hope to see that soon and hear from you and all the great magazines, papers, and everything else about your journey, what you've done
Yeah,
to
I'm going to
contribute.
do
So we
just something
appreciate you.
for you, so that when we win it, you will host the whole team.
Yes, exactly. Well, we thank you. Best of luck to you, and God bless you.
God bless you all too.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.